house, right? I can combat the world's attack because I harness the female energy around me. So how do these philosophies interact with the female energy? Take a look at Arash's girlfriends, okay, and how they affect the world. Now, coming into new understandings and new perspectives and new viewpoints of knowledge, I want to share with you. Can you hear me? Because why is there so many things going? Okay. Hey. One of the things that I like to share with you is that if you forget that life is a game of chess, or life is a game of Monopoly, or life is a game of checkers, pick your game. That life is a game, and you are sitting on the game board, engaged in the activity of going through the rounds, acquiring what you want, and trying not to lose the things you have. When you lose perspective of what happens is you become very, very serious. Let me pull up a chair here. You become very, very serious. And the seriousness ends up causing hesitation, fear, doubt, because you've become so serious about a game. You're afraid you might lose, not realizing that there is no losing in the game of life. There's only playing in the game of life in the allotted time that we have. Look, there is no losing. Someone said, was there winning? Yes, the winning is playing the fucking game. Okay, let me look at this. The winning of the game of life is done in recognizing that it is the game you're playing called life. If you were playing a video game, all the consequences that your character would go through, right? You would understand that those consequences were in the context of the time frame of playing that video game. That when you stopped playing that video game, all the benefits the character acquired. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to time myself. 1 second. Here we go. All the benefits that the character acquired in the video game and all the damages that the character suffered in the video game, the moment you stop playing that video game, it no longer applies. But if you save your character and you go back and play tomorrow, you now are facing what? The same character that you played yesterday, which is every time you wake up, you open your eyes every morning, you're now engaged in the character you created yesterday. That's what I've always seen life as. Right? I've created the character Arash Dibazar. You guys are observing a created character. I'm the actor behind Arash Dibazar. Nice to meet you. Okay? The costume is now this. Okay? The character now is this. But it's still a role. It's still a game. And whatever consequences are acquired in this game of life, they don't result in or equal any loss of life, because there's only one loss of life, is when death comes in at this point for this lifetime. So if we take the perspective that you're playing a whole game, engaged from beginning of awareness of you are now Arash Dibazar, whatever, till whenever that lights are off for Arash Dibazar, this timeline is the game. You're going to have wins and successes, and you're going to have losses, you're going to have heartaches, you're going to have love and humor and anger, and all of this is part of this time around video game. Ready? Start. 1977, January 29, this body is born. And the two people responsible for the body being born, not the consciousness in it, that would be I. The two people responsible for the body being born decide to name their little boy body Arash. And the story of Arash begins 1977, January 29. Now, the entity Arash, me, I, the one who is now wearing Arash Dimazar, did have a history prior to being Arash Dimazar. Okay? I, in this case I, and you would be saying I also, meaning you, had a history prior to Arash Dimazar. Arash Dimazar was a new video game played by the same guy who played the last video game. Me. Okay? As Arash Dimazar is developing throughout his years, certain clues, he's going through the video game and he passes by, let's say, in the video game, he goes through a land called Egypt, right? Oh, what the hell is that pyramid? And suddenly, as he's playing the video game, he remembers, wait, I think there's a little secret chamber in the, well, how would I know that? Well, last video game he played, that character was in Egypt. And as he's playing, a little memory comes back. But he's intuitive. So he explores deeper into why did I think there was a secret chamber in the fucking pyramid? Is that a thought that every human being has when they see a pyramid? And if the answer is yes, then fuck it. That's just what it is, just like we all sleep. But if the answer ever became, well, that's peculiar, it's not a normal reaction of the mind to feel bop, 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 or to think bop, bop, bop when it sees that. That's unique. There is where I wanted to look. This is something that I'm not sharing in common with my fellows as a common experience. Some may have it, but most don't, or some do, some don't. Why this difference here? This must be closer to my own unique signature. And keep going and still doing what I'm telling you until we come to the point where the character is now in the game of life in 2017. By the standards of 2017, the character is a good character to play. It's locked. 1 second. I got it. He's in. Okay. Well, you have a key now? Fuck happened. I didn't lock it. Video. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Meanwhile, I'm getting pictures of a woman in brown underwear. And I just answered, goddamn. During 2017, did you lock the door?
Yeah.
Thanks. During this time, now, by the standards of this time, by the standards of this video game time, the character Arash Sapar motherfucking Dimazar is now a desirable character to play. It's a character that keeps being built. At 40 years old. At 30 years old, this was a good character to play also compared to the populations. As we take it back, we see that it was less and less desirable to pick this character to be, right? Like if anybody could switch places with Hugh Hefner in their life, they probably would have, right? Because he had a better character developed. Right? He wasn't born into fucking Playboy and then he was given everything. He developed the character. He developed those logos. He developed the image. He developed Hugh Hefner. We knew him as how he developed himself to be. So now the character is more desirable. But what I'm telling you, the key to being ferocious, to being free, or more ferocious and more free is a better way to say it, is to recognize that the character, the 40-year-old Arash, is a character built and created by this dude. What? The nameless one who plays Arash. Now, if we call someone a nameless one, we immediately give a name called the nameless one. And I'm telling you that so you can just get a little mind fuck from this, because this is where Zen comes in. Zen and Taoism and the language fuck that they have. So we go, we got this Arash Divazar character that's an object being played. Obviously, I'm right here, right? But the dude playing the role is not named Arash Divazar, because in a previous life, he would have had a different name, and in the next life, he's probably going to have a different fucking name. That thing, that awareness, or a proper way to say it is this awareness that goes through these video games and identities, right, is the one creating Arash Divazar. Thus, Arash Divazar can have a giant beard for a year or 2 years or whatever the fuck it was, and suddenly have no beard. Now, if you're watching this and that you had no context, I used to have a giant beard and I have no beard. So I went from this to nothing. Okay. And to others, it's quite a shocking move. Like, oh my God, what the fuck? It's like if Vince Kelvin suddenly became bald. Completely. And changed his outfit completely. Like, he would be a different guy almost. If Vince Kelvin went into button shirts, suits, ties, slacks, right? Shoes, shaved his head, didn't color his nails. What the who? Whoa, whoa, whoa! What a fucking dramatic shift, right? Well, cool. This character Arash Divazar goes through these massive shifts, these massive changes that all my friends and all my students and my girlfriends and myself know. Change is so rapid in my world. Well, because there's not as much of an attachment to the identity of the character as other people. The character's identity is here to provide me, the guy who plays the fucking character, the experiences that I, the guy behind the fucking Arash Divazar, deems worthy in this lifetime, at this time. Having observed the environment and the world and what it is and how I want to relate to it, I've created Arash Zapar, motherfucking Divazar, that continues to evolve and be able to give me the interactions that I need in this game of Sims. Which is really how I feel that it's what the fuck is happening here. Okay? It's like a Sims world here. So don't get caught up, this is what Manu told me. He says, Arash, they're confusing themselves with the pieces. Don't become the pieces. Right? The pieces. So we've become the pieces. We're now no longer playing life. We're being played by life, left and right. And we lost it. Right? That's what the Diamond Mine lecture earlier was about. I'll give you a piece of it. Obviously, you're paying for this program. I thought about the sun, the sun going up and down. And I thought, if nobody ever told me that it was called the sun, ever, and nobody gave me any reference to what the fuck that thing was, and I grew up not knowing what it was besides my own experience of it. So at some time, this thing would start to come up and it would be visible, it would be hard to look at, and it would warm and sometimes really hot and sometimes less, and it would seem to move and go away, and then it would come back. And if I had this experience at some point and I became aware enough, I'm not a baby anymore, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Do you know what it would look like to me, without any other idea, I would see this ball go up and everything would become visible. And then I would see it go away and it would become dark. And at some point, I might actually begin to see that when I open my eyes, everything has light in it. And when I close my eyes, it's dark. And so I would begin to see an eye moving across. And I can see why I would call it the Eye of Ra, the sun god. Well, that's without anybody telling me about Ra or the eye. I would go back and go, what is that thing? After I realized it wouldn't hurt me, then I would realize it warms places. Then I'll realize that I can hunt better, that I feel better when it's up, that all these fucking things. And after a while, I would have to be like, that is a very good thing. I need that thing. And I would notice that when it wasn't there, it would be cold. And maybe predators would come out and things. I'd be like, I don't want that thing. And so I would immediately begin to associate light with goodness, dark with badness, right away. And I would clearly see the yang and the yin. So the world would split suddenly into day and night, split into black and white, into yin and yang, into man and woman eventually. This is what you see. My own observation should bring me to the knowledge that I'm reading. If my own observation doesn't bring me to the same conclusions I've read, the conclusions are wrong or observation is wrong. Or I'm not looking at the same thing this person looked at. One of three, right? So once we're intelligent enough, we got to look back. Now, you want to be, oh shit. 1 second, guys. Last piece, let me see how much time I have left. Oh, I got 13 minutes, perfect. Now, you don't want to be afraid. You want to be ferocious. You want to be free, which to me now, guys, I mean, shit, man. I know I've always known I'm very smart. I wouldn't have created a diamond mine fucking program. I wouldn't have put myself in the situation I'm in my life if I wasn't intelligent. Okay, but just between us fucking girls right now, I don't know, man. It feels like I've tripled or quadrupled my fucking IQ in the last couple of weeks, right? I mean, I'm looking at my mind and what I'm about to tell you, and it's blowing my mind to go, okay, fuck, right? Because the reality is I don't process these words the same. The word like to be more, how can I be more free? You know what your problem is? You're the freest thing that exists. This is why you can't be free, because you have the ultimate power in the universe is the power of choice. Think about it. You can kill me, but you can't choose for me, right? You could influence me, but I still, even under your total influence, I have to make a choice, even though you influence me to do it. I gotta go, okay, I gotta agree to be hypnotized at some point, right? Choice is it. You have freedom because you have choice. In fact, as your choices are cut, you lose freedom. So choice and freedom can be synonymous. This is why, as a man, you want choice with women. Because to the degree you have a choice, you have that freedom of a man, right? A man energy is supposed to be free. A female energy is supposed to be confined. This was a submissive energy, okay? So a female set free goes nuts. Watch them try to make a fucking shoe choice. I mean, it's a known thing, right? It's just by observation. They go nuts. The more choices you give a female, the more crazier they go. Okay? But a man, start cutting down his choices. You start fucking him up, right? Because they're not the same fucking energy, obviously, and they're opposites. We just described one. The other one must have the opposite attribute, right? So You want to have choice and you want to have freedom, but the question of how do I become more free? Well, you just become more free. The answer is by exercising your right to be free to the degree, I mean, within the limits and boundaries of law. And even then, a criminal clearly shows us I'm free to break the law. But I'm not powerful enough to overpower everybody who tries to overpower me, right? Meaning, if that criminal who commits murder or rape or whatever the fuck they do, right, was strong enough to, like fucking Magneto or Professor X or fucking Zeus or whatever, if that criminal was strong enough to just nuke everybody around him that tried to put him in jail, well, guess what? He wouldn't be in jail and he'd be continuing his crimes. So he's still totally free. He just doesn't have enough power to hold on to his freedom at that moment. But he's free enough to break the law if he wants. He's free enough to do everything he wants to do, but there's consequences. So within the boundaries of consequences, I think what you're saying is simply this. How can I be free of consequences? Now that you can't be. And that's the difference between the power that I hold and what I see others try to hold. I recognize my freedom to do anything and everything and be anything I want. But I don't try to get out of the consequences of my actions because there's a cause and effect law, right? It's not going to break. Not for me, not for you, nobody. So within these boundaries, I'm going to find as much freedom as possible. For example, I can't jump off the roof and fly because of the physical limitations of the body. But I can definitely sit here, breathe deeply, relax my entire fucking body, then place myself on that roof in my mind, but experience it exactly as I am right now, and jump off that roof and fly around. Within the limits of gravity, I find my freedom in my mind to explore flight. Okay? That's the simplicity of it. Now, let's say there's another galaxy, there's another planet where it doesn't have the same gravitational pull or inhabitants have wings, different kind of exploration, different kind of freedom, different kind of barriers. Where this is an old alchemy teaching, where there's light, there is no darkness. So if you go into a dark room, the way you get rid of the darkness is by shining a light on it, right? You don't get rid of the darkness by, I don't know, anything else. You just actually have to shine a light. And wherever the light shines, there is no darkness there. There is no darkness there. And because what I'm saying for that is, if you want to be more free or more ferocious, you need to explore expressing your already inherent freedom in whatever situation you have, or your already inherent ferociousness in whatever situation you have. And by expressing that, it's like shining a light where the darkness was. Then you'll have more of that. And you want, let's say I want more of whatever I want, right? I want more freedom. So I want more of this. And then I express more of it. And I have more of this. And I express more of it. And it begins to open up like a muscle or get stronger. See, you have been not free because you have been expressing limitations. I mean, goddamn, if there was a fucking statement that could free up a bunch of fucking people, then that would be it right now. Or this would be it right now. You're not free because you're expressing limitations. And you continue to express the limitation and complain about freedom. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to flip it around. I want you to express the freedom and complain about the limitation. Okay? Listen again. You're expressing the chains. right? I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm scared of that. That's expression of barriers. Then you're complaining about the freedom by saying, oh, if I could just not be so nervous, or if I could just, it's a complaint sound. It's a complaining sound. If you've been studying Ravi, I think was the product for that. But what you need to do is express freedom, right? I'm going to make any decision I want. I'm going to react any fucking way I want. I'll spend my money any way I fucking want. I'll use whatever words I want in my life. And I'll choose who I fucking hang out with. These are the freedoms that nobody can take from me right now. Okay? Easy. There's my freedom expressed. And I'm going to complain about the barriers if I'm going to complain about anything. Okay? And what would that sound like? I don't know. I don't have any complaints. But if other people's communication lines would fucking really goddamn help me out if they fucking improved it a little bit. Okay, that's my complaint. But I'm going to go and help that. I mean, really, complaining is kind of weird to me. But I'm going to keep expressing. I'm going to keep expressing my freedom. What you express will continue to be. Right? This is the secret. How does one become an alpha male? Arash? By expressing alpha. By expressing alpha energy. How do you express alpha energy? You just get what it is, and you, whatever part you get, express. None of us have the whole thing. I goddamn don't have the whole thing. Like, not even close to it. I just have a little bit more than everybody else. And that little bit more results in such a tremendous amount of ability difference between myself and the rest of the race, which is fucking phenomenal. It trips me out because I also know how much further I have to go, at least from where I'm looking. Now, I know from where I'm looking, it's limited. That means when I get there, I'm going to be like, fuck, I had so much more to go, because that's what it always is. And that's what it's always been. And that is the privilege of age. So as a 40-year-old man, I can say that because I have been working with this shit for fucking over 20 years now. So I know, right, something that I didn't know at 25. Maybe at 25, I thought I figured it the fuck out, and that was the secret. And then at 27, I crashed, and then at 29, I found a new one, right? And it just kept going. So it's a privilege of age. You see, even that, I just realized, is an expression of the freedom of age. See, that is a privilege of age. You know, a 70-year-old man can clearly say to me, you got it all figured out at 40, but until you make it to 70, what you figured out may not be good enough. Figure it all out and die at 41, bro. See how much you do. Okay? Get to my age first before you fucking argue with me about what I know. I'm not going to argue with no 70-fucking-year-old. I don't argue with people older than me. I listen to them, and I go, I'll consider what you say. Now, I don't change my mind, but I don't need to argue with them because I think they got me beat on the age thing. Right? I always think, well, I'm 40. I maybe not make it to 42. How's that? Okay? So I got to argue with you. Maybe in 2 years, things will change in my head. Right? But if I'm 40 and he's fucking 38, if I'm 40 and he's 40, then okay, we could debate on some shit. Otherwise, we could debate ideas, but I don't need to argue with them. Okay? All right, we got to end this. As it says, I have 1 minute, 30 seconds left. I'm done to take somebody here. Okay. If you just follow this little 30 minutes that I did from beginning to the end, and you just listen to it, it will free you up. I know the feeling of listening to me when I talk like this. It will free you up. So one thing you can do is, instead of trying to be free, just keep rewind and press play again. Rewind and press play again. Why? Because what you're doing is you are listening to an expression of more freedom and more power. Right? And by keep listening to it, you got the right neurons kicking in. Right? It's like a song you can't get out of your head. Might as well get a fucking song of freedom and power. Okay? So I'll give you guys a little break because there's 30 seconds left, and wait for Vince. All right? Adios. I know you would be clapping for me, but you're not, because over there. That's okay. Yeah, thank you, Robert. Robert's here. Now it's time to text this woman.
Would you be kind enough to time me 3 times 10 minutes?
3 chunks of 10.
3 chunks of 10. Or maybe make it 3 chunks of 7. So then this way I'll have a little extra time.
Sure.
3.
But I'm going to jump up and down when it hits 7.
Yes, please do. Okay, gentlemen. First and foremost, thank you, Arash, for this experience.
Thank you for coming, man.
Coming here. I'm reminded of a basic, but the basics, we shouldn't even call them basics because they stay with you throughout a lifetime. And when you revisit them, you realize just how significant they are. I came here and thrilled by the experience. What's very interesting is that the fact that I had to catch a flight, to prepare, to show up, and so on, had me register to a deeper degree what I heard Arash say, let's say, compared to when we were on the Monday call. Understand me well. I always fucking love it. But it reached me at a deeper level. It reminded me of those times when I would put like $10,000, all the money that I had to go to a seminar in Hawaii, and I was hand in hand, front row, first one to take notes, say, God damn it, $10,000. I need my money's worth. Okay? So always be reminded of that. I had a client that came all the way from Canada to spend a weekend with me. If you add up the tab that he paid to do one-on-one for a whole weekend with me, the flight and the hotel, that was a big deal for him. And he even nearly got in trouble with work because he didn't really have the permission to leave that weekend, but he took the permission. He could not contact them, so he left a little note to see what would happen on Monday. That's pretty motherfucking daring, okay? Now, that guy, he did awesome, and I gave everything that I had. What's funny is that I did the same thing with a guy who's local. The guy who's local, his progress compared to the progress of the guy from Canada, the guy from Canada has been getting laid left and right ever since. We're continuing via Skype, and he told me, oh man, I got laid with that girl, I got a cougar, I got that girl, and I was like, wow. So once again, be willing to put yourself on the line, because that's when it really, really, really pays off. Now, as you're watching this, first and foremost, I want to give you a little glimpse of something. There's an evolution that's taking place as we're relentless about this thing, where the newer rendition of the teaching will include, and maybe what if they already include that your simple presence and the sight of what you see right now and this connection between the two would be sufficient for you at levels that we don't have the time nor wouldn't care to explain, for all the changes necessary within you to take place right now. That's a pretty big claim. And automatically when you make claims like that, which I love to make those claims because this is how you become fearless, it will automatically begin to erode fear. Because if right now I say, okay, I'm just going to sit here. See, I had a teacher, his last name was Goldman, I forgot his first name, Silva Mind Control. He was a hypnotist in his 90s, and people would make requests, and he would sit, and then would say, it's done. And people were very agitated. They were like, well, what do you mean it's done? No. Oh, my back, it really hurts. Okay. It's done. It's taken care of. All the unconscious program that would resist the idea that it could be as simple as this would come up, and now you know what you got to work with. So I don't know where you're at right now. I don't know what you did just before watching right now, and I'm not sure what you're going to do afterwards. All of that, you are functioning within it. You're here right now, but never mistaking functioning for being fearless and free. Never mistaking function. The world functions once in a while. There's a fucking goof, okay? Yesterday I was practicing being fearless. It was a little crazy. I was in the airplane, and through altering my state, even though the airplane was going straight, I imagined that it was going straight down and that it'd be any minute direct impact to the ground, nose first. And I was like, I'm ready. do it. So once in a while, there will be glitches like that. And there's a lot of minor glitches. You know, that's one of the challenging things when you really start to kick ass in life. You deal with a lot of stuff. One copy is missing from the copy store. The email was sent to the wrong address, little glitches and so on. You know, PayPal sends me a new card, but they don't send me notifications. So then I'm like, oh, why is my card not working? Oh, we sent you a new one. I never received it. Nobody ever told me. So there will be little glitches, but overall, people are capable of functioning. Most people who had to go somewhere today are making it. Most that needed to be done is being done. The meal that you ordered, you ate it and so on. But that's just functioning. And functioning is not sufficient because there is a force within you. There's a reason why you keep on showing up, because there's something within you that knows bigger, that knows better, and is craving it. Okay. So functioning, you are functioning right now. But if you reach a deeper level of self-honesty, right now you're being hunted. Right now, there is activity, and I work with a lot of entities, and they are entities at my place. They're not at all like the ghosts of Halloween. This is absolutely ridiculous. But right now you're surrounded by ghosts hunting you. Meaning in this moment, you have a couple of things, and I want you to start to let your mind identify them. You're stressing over a couple little things. There's probably not more than 3 things. You probably have a worry maybe about your work, about some chick, that chick. There's 3 to 5 things that are pretty predominant. Okay? They are staying with you throughout the day. You're showing up, you're smiling, you're laughing, maybe you're fucking, I don't know what you're doing, but those things are there and they're not leaving. And then underneath that, there's a more subtle layer, little things like, oh, did I take my wallet? Did I lock the key? And so on. Then there's an even subtler one. I bet you that before you arrive somewhere, there's a concern that you may not find parking. There's a projection of what it's going to be like when you enter, when you arrive. And the sum total of that weight on your consciousness is your jailer, and you are not free. Most people deny that because what's the alternative? Becoming aware of that. The awareness of it is like thinking, oh shit, one day I'm going to die. Oh shit, one day I'm going to die. It could easily drive you crazy. So we keep on putting it under the carpet because the process is not understood. That it's an unveiling. As you become aware of those things, you release them and you discover for yourself levels of true freedom. Because inexistent, not even rare, inexistent for most humans are those moments in which you're truly unbound. There's always that little projection, that little rejection, that little agitation, and that creates a turmoil that causes you not to be fearless. And then you're not ferocious enough to tap into the jackpot, to hit the bingo. And then it's a constant and never-ending struggle because you are settling. You are not honoring the functions within you that know bigger, that know higher, and you're not tapping into the resources, the guidance, the intuition, and all the things that are there for you because we come on this planet fully equipped.
That's 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So it brings me to my next point. Okay. So become aware of those things. And here is the equation. Let me focus for a moment because it came to me earlier and I want to recall it as it came.
I'm going to start the second set right now.
Perfect. So first, a person could be agitated, like fidgety. Okay. That's one thing. I get very fucking fidgety because I want things to go faster. It's okay. Then there is that internal little agitation where you're not fully receptive in the now, embracing, and it causes a filtering that makes you misread women, misread situation, and even misread your own needs. Okay? So you got to become more mindful of what is that subtle agitation. Identify it right now. For example, for me, there's a projection right now. My flight is booked a little later, 6 p.m. So I'm already anticipating that I may have to wait at the airport for a moment. I do not know what departure from San Jose looks like, but there is a fucking picture of an airport in my mind. There is a recall of all the moments when I took flights and the flight would be delayed and I was maybe traveling a lot, and I was exhausted. There's that unease in my body already, but it's not there. It's a fucking ghost. It will not happen. See, yesterday I projected a couple times me being on the road. I even saw myself dying on the road, and it's mild shit, you know. It's mild, but what I didn't project would be that I would find a cheaper ticket last minute, that I would not fly from LAX, I would fly from Burbank, that even though I was late, it's no big deal to arrive 10 minutes before in Burbank airport because security is a fucking joke and you pass through and you basically in. I didn't know they had valet parking over there, okay? And I couldn't project that. I didn't know that upon arrival, but first thing, there would be a chick right there on me. There would be somebody asking me for a fucking picture. I had no clue of the succession of all those perfect little moments and things that were going to be there. Now, if you're too busy with the first one, whichever it is for you, I'm only giving you an example now, okay? As a learner, as you continue with us, you got to be faster at not projecting too much of your own shit, but also taking the story and relating it and quickly doing the work. You know, trainers training, that's what it means. You do your part. So because of that agitation, and you first become mindful of it and so on, why is that agitation there? Because there is a concern. A concern is always the same concern, that you may not be fine. That's the mother of all concern, that something may happen somewhere, somehow, and you won't have what it takes to deal with it. And because of that, you're going to be fucked. And all of that is based on a lack of trust. Now, you also need to know how to operate. This is how I do my pickup now, my seduction, all matters. And the more I do that, this is not something new for me, but this is something that the more I do it, the more magic happens. And right now I'm at a place where the greater percentage is that. So now it's within reach that this will be all there is, and the illusion will have been completely eroded and removed. So when I allow myself to exist in that place where you remember this, right now, motion, my fingers going up, do something on your side, anything, go like that, maybe stretch, okay? You got to realize that the body that's stretching is not created by you, that the system that allows the stretches, the nerves, whatever decides, what so complex is not created by you. That even if you build your own place, the material used to build your own place, which I doubt you have, but let's say you're a fucking worker and you build your own house, for an extreme case, was not created by you. Even if now you take a breath, the lungs, the oxygen that's all around. See, oxygen has always been around. There's an ample supply. So you are being supplied right now, and your part is only minimal. So if all of that can happen, everything else can happen. So all the success that you want, all the pussy that you want, and so on. Divine pussy providence. You simply must allow yourself to identify what every day robs you. And it's not the big thing. It's the small thing. It's those minor little concerns. And then you need to open the space and to ask yourself, what if that wasn't there? What if you were in that pure space right now? Let's do that for a moment. I do that throughout the day because stuff buildups. It will build up. You tense. Let's go. All of us. 3, 2, 1. And for a moment now, imagine that all concerns are gone. That you have to have no concerns about anything at any time. It doesn't mean that you neglect your affairs, but oftentimes neglecting your affair comes from a concern that causes you to procrastinate because you're not sure it's going to go all the way through. So right there, my experience has been that you follow through. Then you are unbound. You can do free action. Notice the investment in actions, okay? For example, right now you're willing to participate. We say, raise your arm. You didn't put too much around that. Maybe you go, why? Or, oh, I don't like when people tell me to do stuff, or which arm. Maybe I'm sure you did complicate just a touch minimally, okay? But right now, what if I tell you, okay, what's one action in your life? Maybe you need to pay a bill, do something, take action, call a girl, start a project, do something that you've been wanting to do that you've been putting off. If I say, okay, go ahead, do it right now, notice all the mental, emotional stuff you have wrapped up around. So imagine to exist in this reality where you here now and you're completely free. From there, you can be fearless. And from there, you can be much more ferocious. You enter all situations. The other day in Vision, something came up. Okay, the difference between spirit and us is that spirit has no apprehension. Us, we constantly enter with a sense of apprehension for protection because we fail to remember that we didn't work at being born, that we're free, that there's a force within us. And then that force gets confusing because it's been named, labeled, explained by people who are not you. So you need to drop all explanation and all of this. This is your number one ally. This is as juicy as you fucking want it to be. For me, it's a beautiful woman named Aphrodite who's barely wearing any clothing that can provide like so much nurturing that keeps on coming and giving, keeps on showing up, that is giving so much. So what is keeping you bound? There are three main things that are keeping you bound. First, the illusion that people care. Perfect. So I got 2 more times, 7 minutes plus 2 minutes that we're going to remove since I spoke in between. How's that? You love it? Okay. Good. So first, the illusion that people care. The only time when people care is they care because they care about themselves. That's all. Okay? They care. They may kiss your ass. They may say they care. There is an aspect that I love, sophistication, where I love innovation with tradition. Some of the greatest conversations that I have are with elderly people, and it's not that they reveal the secret of the universe or so on, because a lot of what they say is too ancient or irrelevant, or I don't relate to it. But what I like is that dynamic that maybe was a little more present in the 50s and so on, where there's a sense of honoring individuals and so on. So yes, you want to be the person who honors, who will send a thank you note or so on, and not to kiss ass. You could also do that for the wrong reasons. But that illusion that people care, for that to get rid of the 3 illusions that I'm going to talk about at 10 years from now, start maybe 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, and how much of that will still matter? Even the greatest impact will just be a little fragment. It's so scary at first. That's why people avoid it, and they want to go back in the illusion. They do anything to numb their body with TV, with food, with this, with that, to not face this. But when you fearlessly face it like a true warrior, then you experience a new freedom where you can navigate through people, through the world, through what women say and so on, much more easily. So that's the first illusion you let go. People only care about themselves. It's okay to care when it's pure self-expression and when it feels right, but do not continue to perpetuate that, oh, I'm going to do this so this person will think that and so on, because that's kindergarten. That's a system that evolved from there, but as an evolved, grown-up spiritual being that's transcending all things, you cannot indulge in that anymore. I mean, you can, but it's going to slow you down. It's going to fuck you over. And then, because the more you do, the more people are around you. The more people are around you, the more opinions are around you. The more opinions are around you, the more they can erode your own opinion. And then you're not responding to you, you're responding to the world, okay? Then you are, like, I love what Arash said a moment ago, you are letting the pieces, I cannot verbate.
What was it? Become the pieces, Manu.
Then you become the pieces. Okay, it was Manu who said that. The second one, it's the addiction, and we're going to go back to the second thing I said before, the addiction to give it an explanation. And you cannot function from explanation. You want to function from higher guidance and intuition, and also instinct. It's a Rash's company that's named Seductive Instinct. It makes more sense than anything else. It's like the Beatles. You look back, you go, fuck, with all the guys who went like, seduction this, pick up that, it's like, no, that's the one that makes the most sense. Fucking instinct, okay? So the addiction to make an explanation. You meet a girl, you start to make the explanation. Something happens. But why is that a problem? Because the explanation, why are you making that explanation? Okay, this is the sequence. This is the gold right there. When you watch the replay, you pause and you draw a diagram. This addiction to want to make a decision. Oh, she was slow. She's not responding. Oh, maybe she's the one. Oh, I really like that girl. Whatever that is. Why is it there? It's there for one fucking reason. What is that reason? Because you're trying to control. And why is the need to control there? Because you don't fully trust. You don't go like, that's it. Okay? So we backtrack. Once you have the trust, you no longer have that addiction to have to control, because, and now you no longer have to give the explanation. So now you become pure self-expression. Pure self-expression is what? You grab a bite, it's yummy, your taste bud realizes, that's pure self-expression. A car drives, you like that car, it's fucking hot. You go, but you stop it at that. You don't go into like, oh, I wonder if I could ever get one of those. Or what if I get one of those? Oh, yeah, but with the traffic, I wouldn't want it to get scratched. Maybe I could get a special insurance. Well, how will I pay for it? No, you don't do that. And you don't do that with women. And you are so open. So pure self-expression. No more of the addiction to explanation. And you can give a brilliant explanation. But see, right now what I'm sharing, this is self-expression, blended with intuition, with instinct, but it's not controlled by fear. Okay? And a little fear will come up. So what is the process? What is the work? Well, number one is to be willing to look a little bit beyond. You will not go further unless you look beyond. If you look at the beyond, you will become mindful that never you have a true, pure moment, unbound, raw. There's always a little agitation of before or after, of what could it mean? What if not? What is that? And people hold on to that because they think if I don't have that, I may end up like naked on a beach doing some weird thing, dancing on the freeway. Not true. When you remove that, there is a force within us, the same force that helped us to learn initially, that helped us to grow, to function, digestion, breathing, that comes into place. And then you don't have to be agitated. Then you, as a metaphor, you're not at LAX, you're in Burbank with the valet. And it took you 10 minutes to go there. So all of the worry about how am I going to get there on time doesn't exist anymore. Find your own example of that. So at first, it's a little intense, but be willing to go through the intensity. Pause again for a second and begin to notice all the little concerns right now. They're endless. It's like a little zzz. You know how you sometimes in summertime there's like flies around and you go and you could be a beautiful summer day and one fucking fly just constantly is ruining your moment. So you cannot have all those mental flies ruining your moment. So you, step number 2, go 3, 2, 1. If I was completely free right now, why do you do that? You don't do that to be completely free right now. You do that to become more aware of all that would oppose itself to that. Now here's the trap, the pitfall. When people do that, usually they think, oh shit, that's there to stop me. And they put themselves underneath it and it creates a plateau and then they go right back down. No, it's there to be flipped over so you can arise and you start to ask, what if that wasn't a concern right now? Okay? What if that wasn't a concern? What would that be like right now? Okay? So we have a little more time for questions. What I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap up now. I will restate the process once, okay? The realization is you may think you are free because you're able to function, and you may compare yourself with the guy who's like, oh, I remember once at a boot camp, the most hardcore case I've ever witnessed. After a layer talk, I say, let's go to a bookstore. One guy is there. I do 33 minutes. We're in a bookstore. I start to talk to a girl. The guy is not talking to the girl, but the simple fact that he saw me go talk to the girl, he ran home. That's how bad it was. He did. I was like, where did he go? Oh, the other guy said he freaked out when he saw you talk to that girl. I said, why? Did he know her? No, he just couldn't believe it. You did that. And he got all nervous. He started to sweat and he ran home. So you go, I'm not that. I have no problem with anxiety then, and so on. So that's not what we're talking about. So you become willing to notice all the subtle manifestation, and you don't see them as the enemy or anything bad. You don't judge yourself. You're not the originator of those things. They are residues of certain models you've lived in and been exposed to. Very little. In the end, all the guilt and shame and blame for all your fuck-ups in life can be gone, because it's a lot of the result of the environment you were put around and stuff you picked up along the way, misconceptions. As you become aware of them with no judgment, watch out the pitfall to think that they're there to bother you, and then just contemplate a reality step by step, day by day, in which it wouldn't be there. And then you're going to have those first glimpses of moments where, okay, wow, there was nothing there. In sex, it's beautiful. That's Tantra. It's the complete surrender of mental agitation. And what's the core of that? Let go of controlling. Because there's the form of control of getting your shit together. But there's the form of control of doing that out of fear. You cannot do it out of fear. So anytime you forget that, you will always be fine. It's funny because I'm very non-denominational, and I'm super non-denominational, meaning that I will even tap into something that appears very foolish, and I would criticize it the way, or not criticize it, but I would say it's pure shit. But sometimes you find a little gold nugget. And I love that thing I say every day. Give us this day our daily bread. Bread is not just the fucking food. Bread is the money. Bread is the pussy. Bread is the spiritual understanding, the health, the experience you want, the joy that you want, and so on. Okay? It's not like, oh, please. It's give. Give us. Okay? Because you're entitled to it, and it's already there, and it's awaiting. Sometimes I imagine like a bunch of fucking like angels and so on, or helpers, spiritual helpers, and thank God they don't have those lower energies. They must be so patient. They must be like, 30 motherfucking years. We waited. You're free. You were free all along. Okay? So what's to come is absolutely surreal, because I got my back against the fucking wall at this point. I do. I have my back against the wall. See, life is circular. That's one of the reasons why every chance that you have to grow, and every chance that you have to tap into higher mindset. And for me, what a blessing. I'm a little bit older than him, but what a blessing to have a Raj, because his mindset just is so spacious that you can breathe in it. And I've been allowed to reach many places that without I would not have reached. Okay. So, but the understanding is jump on it, because you will fucking need it. See, the mission is, if you could equip yourself, grow, accumulate riches of the mind, of material, because it's not one or the other, no either or. Okay. Then, and you could go endlessly. Oh my God, fuck, that was my initial plan. But there is an omission that there are seasons of life, and it cycles. And then there's the passing of time. So with the passing of time, you will find yourself at new places. Okay, in a couple of months, I'm going to be 50 years old.
Wow.
So
awesome.
Right now, as 50, I have one option, and I love it. And I think it's all part of a life contract and so on. I have one option. If I play mediocre, I'm fucking fucked. If I play good, I'm fucking fucked as well. Why? Because I'm the type, and you're probably part of that type too. We're like family in a way with that. Okay. I'm the type that when other people would watch bands, the thing that fucking juiced me was not only their art, but the magnificent. I've always picked the biggest, because I know that less than that will not fulfill me. So right now I got my back against the wall, because there's only one option. I got to fucking top Hugh Hefner. I got to fucking top Elvis. I got to fucking top Muhammad Ali. I got to fucking top Jesus Christ. If I don't do that, well, the next couple of years are going to find me a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to disappoint myself. So that means that it's going to be pretty motherfucking hardcore. In seeking for this, I'll conclude with that. I did a channeling with Frank White where suddenly he goes, I feel compelled to channel you in the future.
So in the future.
Yeah, he channeled me in the future. I have never seen Frank like that. It wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop. 15 minutes, he picked up my energy, and it's not something that he saw, he clarified. He just picked up the core of Vince Calvin. It was like within my essence for a moment. Yeah. He started to laugh and laugh and laugh. Oh, fuck, that is so pleasant. That's your essence right there. That's your spirit. And I was laughing, and each time he'd be like, ha, 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 ha. And it wouldn't stop. And it wouldn't stop. And of course, because it was him telling me that on my side. I was like, I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to laugh. And it kept on going. But we also found that this had been eroded also. So the message from me to me, which is going to be my message to you, okay, and I almost have tears when I'm saying this, was like, okay, there's only one option. You must completely drop all inhibition to pure self-expression. You must completely drop any illusion of fear, not mildly, not a little bit. You must hustle at any given time to be completely free right now. And in moments of complete freedom, it fluctuates completely. It fluctuates completely. And I see that in my daily reality. And I conclude with this because this can be very powerful for you guys as well. Okay, there is a fluctuation. It's funny. I had a dream of Lisa Ling last night, and I'm in negotiation right now, and I love that negotiation because goes through, it's going to be instant major change. We're talking fucking A-list. Doesn't go through, well, something else will go through. But you know that's a vine right there. I'm like a little bit like those people who go, oh, I got this big promotion at work, so got to work with that, let it go, and so on. So. But after the event of the CNN show, for a couple of months, okay, and Steve Harvey also, being in Hollywood was just a unique experience of pretty much every 3 fucking minutes in my building, going to put the trash. Hey, I've seen the show. Hey, Then after that, it calmed down a little bit. Then there's been some replays, so it's almost like boom, aftershock. So right now I notice that it all depends. I can very well one day just let a couple of things get to me a touch and I walk around and there is no mention of it. Either people keep it silent or it does not trigger that. But whenever I come to this place right now, boom, then there's people who go, hey, can I take pictures? Hey, this and that. Hey, a live stream that happens. So that fluctuation is an amazing confirmation that you will encounter yourself. If you start to walk around and there's the erosion, the subtle erosion of minimal disturbance, it's going to affect your game. It's going to affect everything, even your thinking, and then you think too small. Even in our greatest moments of thinking, the example of the tiger in the cage, well, it's just some of us, we have a zoo, not a cage. We're like a tiger in a fucking zoo, but it's still a zoo. It's not the wilderness. It's time to be in the wilderness everywhere, free, unbound. Okay. What can you expect from this? Well, I backtrack. Number one, make discount. Okay. Make discount. Imagine you had to pay $75,000 to hear this. And it would be interesting to do a little study, okay? To do a recording and give it to 3 people. One group would be, that's free. One group would be, oh, it was $200. And one group would be, it was $50,000. And then find out what they did with what they heard. I bet you the $50,000 group would say, I've done this. I've started my own business. Thank you so much. And so on. Those in between would go, oh, great things happened. But then, and those who had it for free would say, oh, it was good, man. It was a great lecture. What did you learn? Oh, well, you got to be more playful. You got to be more confident. So if you're serious about this, what's going to happen is as you move from this moment on, the moment you click like stop the thing and you go in the world, suddenly your disturbance will start to reveal itself. It will surprise you. Sometimes it's not what you think it is. It will be a lot of also little minor little shit, you know. Maybe before going to sleep, the fear of that. Oh, what if I don't sleep? What if I don't hear my alarm? What if my phone doesn't charge? And so on. All of those, they're so small. You need to let them go. Okay. And then 3, 2, 1, let all of this go. Don't let your mind lead from there. There's going to be an energy that's going to come. It's going to open a little space like a pussy that's spreading wider and wider. Good. Last thing, come to my wedding in December.
Getting married?
Bring gifts. Bring gifts. I love.
Are you getting married for sure? This new chick?
I don't know.
You fall in love, huh?
I don't know. Well, here's what's happening with this. There's 3 things I got to say real quick.
Yeah.
Number 1 is I had become blasé, meaning, you know, I've had so much and so much and so much and so much. Okay, the list is long, and experiences, and in all fucking direction, from reverse gangbangs to this to that to marriage to. But I omitted the fact that life is evolution, and it will always, if you trust it, top itself. So suddenly comes a chick around that I have never seen that. I could spend 12 hours on her clitoris, and my background as a musician has my wrist. Girls know that. Porn stars, they talk about it. They go, oh my God, you got to let him make you squirt and so on. Okay? Normally, there's girls, you do that and they go, ah, and then you cannot touch them anymore, just like you with your own dick. You know, after you came, the girl continues to go, stop, stop, stop. There's girls who go in little waves and you can restart and so on, and eventually it dies off. There, it's non-fucking stop, 12 hours, and I could continue after that and continue. So I asked Tony Dillinger, and he said one thing. He said, that's chemistry. He said, that's the only time that this happened. This girl really feels you. There's a connection somewhere. So message for you, know that whatever you think has been your best or is your best currently, it might be 10 years down the road. It's pretty fucking phenomenal that at 49 comes this thing that, you know, at the Dream Hotel, we've had beautiful experiences, but I remember I sat outside the Dream Hotel. By now, it must be almost 3 years ago. I had called a rush, and that's the day I decided to kick out my 5th wife. And I just sat. I had a yerba mate, a cigarette, and for a brief moment, I was like, fuck, man. And then suddenly my eyes raised, and I saw a big sign on a construction site saying, Live the Dream 2017. We didn't know what it was. It was the Dream Hotel. And as I sat the other day and thinking, why? You've been with 5 different girls in this hotel. They're all younger. The last thing my 5th wife told me is like, you're old anyway. You know, she wanted to hurt me. And to think those girls are younger and more beautiful than her, and it's 3 years down the road. So I want to inspire you with that. Okay. Second thing is, once you do your work, you can be the pure expression of love that's unbound. And the last thing that I like also is that it's causing me to revisit things because I'm willing to dive in. So it's a great workout, and Lord knows where it's going to go, but I also have to keep up with the prediction. It's been said that I was going to get married 9 times, and I'm only at 5. That's 4 more. I don't want my last 2 weddings to be when I'm 90. Yeah, hurry up here too. Also, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Great. What are we doing next here?
Q&A.
Fantastic. I'll put the chair right next to you. Okay.
Hello, and we're back.
I need to put some. Ouch. All that food.
Fuck. I got pierced and I just touched it. Oh, wow.
Oh, it's new?
Yeah, that's thing here.
Very cool. How was the paint on it?
It was a little more than the other ones, but it was still like pretty much nothing.
Yeah. Oh, you're okay with the paint?
Huh?
You're okay with the tattoo paints, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can I sit here?
Oh, I don't know.
So, questions. Well, since nobody
Are there any
asking a
online?
question,
Or not?
What?
Not super related to the topic today, but something I was wanting to ask. How do you guys view sex with your girlfriend or wife, when you have a wife, compared to sex with other girls? Any distinction or?
For me, yeah. I've talked about this a few times, but I don't know if I'm peculiar in this or not. But you're asking how I view it. That doesn't mean this is how you're supposed to do it, right? So it's not like a major area for me that I care about. But it seems that the more that I love the person, the least I can have sex with them the way a woman really wants to have sex. It's a backwards ratio. The least I care about the person, the least I know her, the more freedom I feel to do all kinds of shit to her, right? And so they have this backwards idea that, well, you guys are going to have great sex because you're so comfortable with each other. I haven't seen that to be true. I've seen that the girl that you love the most seems to get the least great sex. What I'm capable of versus, well, I mean, at some point they were all the beginning. You know what I mean? That's where the transition gets kind of weird for them. They start feeling like our sex is not the same. That's why sex can't be the center point of a relationship if you want it to last. It's got to be just like, we all go out and meet, right? We do here, this, that, and also my girlfriends and I have sex. That's the level, really. Nothing more. You make it anything more and you want to live the way I live, you can't. Because always the new girl will trigger some new sexual satisfaction the old one won't. This is why if you want to have relationships like this, sex has to be so downplayed. You get it? But my view, that's what it seems to have been. It's the more I love the woman, the more I seem to really what it is, respect her, as weird as that sounds. You know what I mean? I can't just like pull her hair and smack her ass and throw her fucking thing and blah, 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 that crazy. But if I don't give a fuck about her, then I don't give a fuck about her. Bitch. Do all kinds of shit to them. But they love that. So that's been my experience. I know people who've said the opposite, though, of what I've said, but that's been my experience.
I get that.
You get that?
Yes. Well, a few quick things. Number one, backwards. For me, it's never like, oh, we got to have sex a certain way because that's my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend because we're having sex a certain way. Or like I wouldn't go, even if I say, fine, if I get married, wife is a fucking nominalization. That's a joke. That's like entertainment for me. It's like some people like to go to the theater. I don't know. I just was fascinated with The Godfather and the big Italian wedding and those moments. Maybe as a kid I went to one and it was great and I want to have that. But here's the thing with sex, which leads me to the third thing that I didn't mention right there. To be unbound and to be free, you got to let go of the illusion of beginning and ends. There's always a reality. It's a duality. Okay. Everything is a plus or a minus, a higher vibration or a lower vibration. There's a time when okay, we need to end. We need to start, time, begin. Okay. For practical logistics and so on. But at a mental, emotional, or experience level, it's a mistake to compartmentalize time as, okay, we started, we met, oh, it's been a month, oh, it's been this. Yesterday, I was with this girl in an SUV, and there was a sense of, okay, we did our thing. Now we're going somewhere. It felt like a period of transition. And in that moment, suddenly I had a burst of energy, and I turned to her and I fucking grabbed her and I said, let one thing be clear in your cute little mind. There are no such thing of beginning and endings. Now is always now. And in this moment, it doesn't matter how much you gave me before. It doesn't matter how hard it got arousing her again with a recall. I said, you have to top it right now. Entice me, darling. Arouse me. Make me feel things I never felt before. And then it felt like, wow, it was the moment. So that is also to hook them very strongly just before departure. That is very strong. So I just played with that yesterday. And I did it with another girl the other day also. So drop all illusions. Same thing when having sex, and I genuinely think the world would qualify me as a sex addict. Genuinely. I have other addiction that I have under control because I know they're not healthy for me, but that one, I do believe that itself. I'm very pro-sex. If right now they said, okay, you decide everything, the only thing I would make mandatory would be there would be certain hours of fornication, mandatory. And there would be like weird patrol going around and say, you guys supposed to be fucking right now. What are you doing? I know that's bizarre. So
Visit your planet one day.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember this. Vince turned into a star. There he is. He's like 70 generations in the future, right?
That's a shooting star. No, it's shooting from the star. It's not a shooting star.
I'm gonna tell my friends I bring them. This is Planet Vince. Now you guys gotta understand. Like there is fornication hours here. Like if you're uncomfortable, you can't be a virgin. Come in here. Anyways, sorry.
So, God, thank you. You made me horny again.
You were saying that's a train of thought that you would make fornication hours.
Yeah. Then also another backward way of thinking is I noticed that I know a girl is closer to me when her sexuality, no matter how kinky she gets, I feel it reaching me in my heart. It's directed towards me. I know a girl is not close to me if I go look at that fucking little whore and I see her sexuality outside of me. I see her fucking masturbate, or I see her like going like, oh, I want to suck something. Then I go, great, come here, suck mine right now, and I don't care about anything else that she may want or anything. So that's how I compartmentalize. What's the next question?
Where would it be written here?
It would be written to the right.
31 unread messages. Jeez.
Okay, oh, here we are with questions. I think
people left the room and re-entered.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Hey, Vince.
So we're gonna go to the very bottom right now,
yeah,
guys, and answer the last one we see. Okay, just retype. Okay, Richard says, "Is it better to be free and challenge yourself by having completely different looks and doing very well, no matter if you're dressed in a suit or shorts or club outfit, or like monk or other things? Or is it better to stay in your comfort zones because of the outlook of your personality you are portraying? Someone dressed like a simple monk would have more challenges than someone with the nice clothes, nice watches, etc. Can a master be free and great in any clothes or environment?" You want to take that?
Thank you.
Shit.
No,
brain rest after that one.
Let's keep it simple. You have found appeal in what was stated, and you right away went back to a little deviation. So you're circling the town that you decided to leave, or you circling the town that you decided to enter, because that is not the freedom we are talking about. The freedom we are talking about is more deeply rooted. So right there, that freedom would have you right now. Hey guys, I just found a monk outfit. This feels so cool. That's the freedom. Or it would be like, I decided to not care. In that freedom, the answer already resides. But right there, it's again, it's a concern. It's a form of control. Your question, a lot of you guys' questions are controlling just because you're not tapping into deeper trust. And, you know, lately I've been doing a lot of muscle testing in terms of choices. And what I realize is that what we think are essential choices for us, like, oh, should I go back out or should I not? Should I go eat there or should I go eat over there? Should I dress this way or that way today? What I get is same thing for both, which the message is it's absolutely fucking irrelevant. The choices would be more, are you giving yourself permission or are you giving yourself restriction? Are you binding yourself again or not? See, if a guy goes like, oh man, I should go back out tonight. Well, should I? And then he goes, oh shit, yeah, it is kind of late. That's binding right there. The guy goes like, that's it for me tonight. Sleep now. Then he's free. So operate more at that level. Notice, are you contracting or are you flowing, creating, moving forward?
I agree with that. And this is what I recognize. I'm going to answer that by giving observation to Vince that I noticed. Okay, so I met this really, really beautiful girl, right? Man, one of these rare fucking oddities. And then it's a beautiful story because when she first met me, she had heard of me and she was dating somebody I knew. So I saw my friend who was with her and I was with somebody else. Like, fuck, look at that woman. Like, right? And so I'm going to go say hi to my friend. We go shake hands. I sat back down, and what I said about her was, damn, that right there is fucking hot. what she said to the guy who knows me after she shook my hand was, I can't believe I just shook his hand. He's a fucking rapist. He raped my friend. She said that about me, and I said that about her as we departed. We saw each other again later on that night in another part of the city. And again, it was a minor, quick interaction. I said something, she laughed. And then she grabbed my good friend later at night when I left and said, I don't want to talk to you. Why are you hanging out with a rapist? So this is how her and I met. How we got to where we got to, where her and I went on our fucking date. It was fucking incredible. But she has something to do with it. She's very, very smart, right? Like one of these girls who's just really super intelligent because of the activity that she does for work. But long story short, she asked me this question on text yesterday, which was kind of like, men say they want, I think it was like, men say they want a woman who depends on them, and they like that, they find that sexy, but then when you do, they say you're clingy. What the fuck? I said, well, call me. And she called me. And I said, I have the answer. But if I give you the answer, now this is for your answer right now, same thing. If I give you the answer is going to contradict some basic idea you have that's false, that's below this question. Okay, I'll give you an example of that. So I can give you the answer and it'll kind of make sense, but you'll argue with me because the basics are different. You don't have the structure built to get to this level of an answer yet, right? Because you have certain ideas and beliefs growing up about relationships, men and women and all that will actually make you argue the answer to what I'm saying. But the answer is still correct. You just have to approach it from a different perspective, not from your perspective. But since you're asking the question, and I told her in the phone, I said, does it look like I'm suffering from that in my life? She said, no, you're not. Does it look like I said, well, we're not, right? So that means just by observation, I would just follow my lead than yours. But I said, to answer your question, the answer is, there is a reason why that happens. But if you want to learn, we start at the very beginning of this thing. Do you want to learn this or not? I said, yeah. I said, okay, here's the first thing you have to think with for the rest of the week. That every goddamn thing you were ever told or taught about man and woman, how they're supposed to relate, is wrong. I said, you got to get that. Now, if you don't get that, when I give you the answer, you're going to try to judge it based on something you were told, and you have to know that that was wrong. See that? So you'll try to judge it based on what mom said that, or religion said that, or your friend said that, or a movie said that. That was wrong. So you got to look at this thing completely clear. First, everything has been wrong, and I said, I want you to go around and observe how many relationships worked the way you want them to work, or are working the way you want to work. Find a relationship you want to be in and tell me, right? She doesn't found any issue. We know this. They normally come back with my grandparents. They've been there for 45 years and they're 90. Whatever. Okay. So anyways, your question, right? The monk outfit being or whatever is like, cool. But you're missing the basic structure to get to that question even, right? You're asking whether or not it's more freedom to express it one way or that way, or should one have the freedom to do it neither? But I think the question is somewhere along, how do I get attention when I'm out? You know, do I get it? How do I challenge myself when it has nothing to do with the fucking outfits. You know what I mean? It's just way off on that. I think it has nothing to do with it. So you're missing the basics. And this is what I was going to tell you. This is why I'm talking to you about it. I think that's why people don't learn, right? They can't build because they don't have the material to build this. So this thing requires, let's say, metal or wood and metal to build, but they're using straws. So they'll build the first level and they'll look, and it looks similar. It's like a low fucking structure. And I kind of got that. With practice, I'll get there. But the next level requires fucking concrete and cement to go up. So then they try, and it keeps falling. They keep trying. They put glue, and it's like by the time we get to the fourth level, they're not even there. So now they're looking at a sixth level question and saying, so when I have sex with a woman, how do I get her to, or how do I get a woman to be okay with me having multiple girlfriends? How many girlfriends have you had so far? 1 or 2. Okay, how much that? And you start asking, go, whoa, what do you know about women? Right? Well, what's some positive qualities of women? What are some and you start questioning the person, and you realize that you're dealing with someone who's totally not only uneducated about women, is miseducated about women, and is trying to apply knowledge that's not going to work. So 2 of my students would wear monk outfits and go to clubs here in San Jose. They were all over Snapchat, and they were all over fucking Instagram, and they became super famous and are young. They stopped because one got a girlfriend and got serious about her, and the whole thing broke up. Right? They're really good friends, and now one's. I mean, I think his life is over. He's not listening, so whatever, right? But when they were going out, dressed as a monk, everybody was like, we're there. So it doesn't give you this, in the context of walking into a club as a monk and you're smiling. If you have social dynamics dressed as a monk, you could get way more women than if you were dressed sharp. You get what I'm saying? Because that's what these looks are. These looks are, I'm strong enough to handle this in this environment and still be social, and people like me. So there's something special about me, because not everybody can pull it off. Not everybody can pull off that look, right? It takes a lot. Like I remember Charlie Manson, yeah. Well, I love Charles Manson. He's not a fucking murderer if you study his story, and he's quite brilliant. I don't love him like I fucking know him and shit, and I don't condone murder, but I'm just saying he didn't murder. He didn't commit any murders. Okay, but anyways, he has a swastika sign right here.
Yeah.
Right. And there was an interview that he did, and he goes, this is a heavy tattoo to carry. And I understood that because when I got my fuck you, I realized how heavy it was to carry this. Anytime you get a face tattoo, it's heavy to carry. That if you understand that, there's tattoos that are light to carry. If you have a shoulder tattoo and you cover it, no problem, right? You start going there and you start putting fuck you on your eyes. I get the swastika. I go, whoa, I totally understood what he meant. That's a heavy tattoo to carry. You can't just carry that lightly in the world and everyone, it's not it's like someone could kill you for that thing. You know what I mean? You're stating something big. So to get here, you have to be able to carry that monk. You have to be able to, but these are skills that we're teaching. So somehow we have to figure out some kind of program, I think, really that goes into the basics. Almost like the philosophy is missing, right? If you're trying to apply, for example, an RSD philosophy, it's like the first time I named this company, to any of my stuff, it's not going to work. It's got a different material that we build with. My material is truth. That's the unbreakable shit. Right? That's the shit you can't break and gives us this result. That's why the women act the way they act about me. They're in love. My new girlfriend. Do you see my new girlfriend got her tattoo?
I saw that.
Yeah,
fuck.
4 out of 6 now.
I mean,
2 more.
Copycat with this.
Hey.
I mean, demand that.
Turn on. I've been talking a lot, but you get what I'm saying, guys. You gotta get the basics, man. You're missing the basics a lot.
2 things are coming up, brother, as you're saying this. Number 1, I think this could be very well our next event. I know we have the celebrity game, but celebrity game is in November. So then we have one more to do in December. So I feel there. I also think that it has to do not only with the fabric, but with the location where you begin to build. And a lot of guys, there's those who build with the wrong fabric on the wrong location. There's those who are exposed to the better fabric, but they still build on the wrong location. Let you guys be the ones who build on the right foundation. And one challenge is that we're causing an expansion of the mind. But if your mind expands based on the wrong location, then it will cause a lot of deviation, which we notice in the questions. So as you expand, don't only practice that, practice also a core. I call that CC. In my private sessions, I do that a lot more. Core compass. Your core compass, you were giving one very important one today. You are still not aware of what you are receiving here today. You are still not making it pay off. So it's $75,000 or $750,000 worth hour-and-a-half lesson. Okay, perhaps you can do that really here at any given time. If you want to get to the core, you're going to have a little contraction or a little expansion. You're either going to be in an experience, or you either going to just start to be robbed by something. I had it a moment ago, and if you can take that one assignment and notice, and then identify your questions based on that. If your question is coming from a contraction, then it's not based on freedom, it's based on fear. So, little contraction. See, a moment ago, I found myself, you would never detect it, and I barely detected it. Again, I was projecting waiting at the airport and being a little tired. That made my body contract just a touch, and for a moment I was missing out. Then I took a breath. I'm not at the airport. I'm right here next to a Rash Zipar motherfucking D Bazaar. Moment in time, crystallized, captured on recording for you, the lucky ones, will not return. I paused, and then I really registered everything that was said. And there was the richness of the moment. Everything came to life, the decoration, all the stuff around. And so take today, not everything it will be given to you in one shot. Take today 2 things from this. Take the core compass and identify during the minutes, hours, days to come, whenever you contract, more minimally till you detect it, and stay in expansion. Stay. That will change your sex life. That will change how you dress, how you express yourself, and everything. And then also take the realization that was shared right now, which is you got to build better. And we will help you with probably something in December. I think it's revealing itself that you guys, and it will not be for everybody. It will be for you guys.
Okay.
Another very quick thing, though. I connected the pieces. There's something, brother, that you shared. It was at first, I didn't mean it that way, but still you helped me take something further. So thank you so much for that. You came back from the Dream Hotel and you arrived, and we're on the Monday call. I was really saying there was a girl in my bed, and I was saying I wanted to, that was the beginning of me fucking her. So I was saying like, oh, I better catch on some sleep as a way to cool it down. And so she would be under the impression, oh no, he's going to sleep. If she really wanted sex, she would want it more. If she was in between, she would relax. If she didn't want it, she'd be like, oh, cool. He's not just here to fuck me. Okay. But at the same time, you made me detect, because you said I just arrived and I'm going out right now.
Yes.
And me, I thought, oh, wow, that's intense. And then I was like, no, that was the birth of what I shared before. And I'm connecting it right now. Of there's no end, there's no beginning, to be able to process. So I identified in that moment, you were not filtering of, oh my God, I'm just back from my trip. You were not polluting by that. So I'd be curious what your mindset is behind that, because I want to do more. And I see you like that. Yeah, I see you. You're like forward. You're pure self-expression. And the more I understand this stuff, the more I understand also why the appeal, because you are truth at the core.
Thank you.
So just for me, my question is, what's the structure that allows you to not buy into what everybody else would say, oh, I just came back from the trip or whatever, or thinking, oh, tomorrow I got this and that.
Okay, good. That's a great answer. In fact, I'm going to do a little piece on my Instagram for that. Because you nailed something that's, you say, man, it's what we do. Events should be this. You know, just talk. You know, because I have a lot to share, and bouncing it off somebody who's been doing this for so long with so much experience is just so valuable, you know. I was just telling them, by the way, because you said you're turning 50. In my part that I was talking, I said at 40, I have a freedom that I didn't have at 30 or 20, which is at 40, anybody who is not up to 40 yet, right? I can say, well, let's see how you feel when you're 40 years old. See, I can't predict. So that's why, like a 60, or let's say my dad's 75, there's a lot of views we don't have in common, but I don't argue with him anymore. Because I'm like, I mean, he's lived 35 more fucking years. You know what I mean? And I look back 10 years ago, and if I debated me 10 years ago, I'd kill me 10 years ago, you know? And so just by that logic and just by that pattern, I would say that if, you know, he's 75, I'm 40, 35 fucking years from now, I mean, I could only imagine what the fuck I'm thinking. So how absurd to get in an argument with a 75-year-old man right now, 35 years later, not even realize that he was right, but you would realize, like, whatever I argued about was completely wrong. He was wrong too, but I was completely wrong too, right? So I was a Christian arguing a Muslim, and then 35 years later, I become a Buddhist. And I condemned the Christian the whole time, right? They were both wrong. And then 35 years after the Buddhist, I ended up becoming whatever. And the whole fucking thing was wrong. But anyways, that question, the way that I've been processing time is very fascinating. And I really, I mean, man, I'm not going to say it doesn't completely exist yet, because that's what it's feeling like. But what everybody is considering a yesterday and a day before and a tomorrow, I'm seeing as a moments where I sit on the chessboard to play, and then when I'm sleeping, moments when I'm off the chessboard. Kind of, I don't know what the fuck's happening there yet, but I come back and I'm on the chessboard, and it doesn't. The moments are not necessarily any longer equaling the other moment. Like it's becoming where somebody could piss me off so bad, and then interaction, quick, resolved, and then completely dropped, like just completely dropped by me, because I'm seeing the absurdity and the lie that I've always known by studying. I think L. Ron Hubbard was the first to bring that to my attention, that time is just this, of course it's a measurement of movement, but that's not what I'm saying, is that it's a lie that happened, because the only truth is that this is happening. Like this is happening, that we know. I mean, that almost answers all questions right now, right? It's hard to speak after that, right? So if you go, what do you know? I go, I do know this is happening. And you go, well, how do you know this? Well, I can only know it in the moment that I know it, and that moment is gone the moment I speak of it. So the absurdity of time starts to dissolve itself. So I know of now, but then it's no longer now. And how do I know now, like 3 seconds ago happened? Through a memory, again, in the now. And I keep fucking myself, and I keep finding myself is in the now. I keep finding myself is in the now. I keep trying to go, I try to go backwards, and I go I'm doing that now. I'm actually looking backwards now. I'm looking backwards now. Even if I'm lost in my mind, I'm in that moment now. And so it just keeps becoming now. But it's also allowing me to project future differently. My future is easier to project because I realize the absurdity of time. And that thing is just another bunch of nows that I can totally control. So I can control 5 years from now by controlling now, again and again, headed towards the fucking choo-choo train of the now and the future. The tunnel's right there, right? And so that's just what I'm seeing. So so last night, I got home around 3:30, I don't know what the fuck, I went to sleep. I worked the whole fucking day. I worked all through the fucking night. I have guests out of town, not just yourself, that I'm entertaining. Right after this, I'm going to go to lunch with the guests entertaining, Then I'm going to work again, and I'm done. What is that? But they're not related. I don't think they're related. I think that each thing is the thing, right? So this is going to be this, and then the only thing I have to monitor is how much food intake possibly, because I'm eating less. I mean, there has to be some food in here, right? 5-hour energy I took. I don't know. That's such a small concern that I don't even think about it. How do you keep your energy up? Any way I can, any way I need to. I don't fucking know. Wow. I'll figure it out when it happens. Sometimes I'm sleeping 3 hours, 2 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, and it just keeps going. And I'm like, I do the math. I'm like, my God, how much sleep? I'll go give this shit. I'm fine. And just you keep dropping it. You just keep dropping it and dropping it. Oh, I just drove here. That's end of that. End of cycle. Chapter done. Drove. Finished. Good job. Clap for yourself. Shake it off. Now you're on to the next thing. What's the next thing? So there's all these again, this comes from, this is L. Ron Hubbard. He keeps popping up in my mind every time I say it because I'm using his words right now. So it comes from what's called start, change, and stop. Start, change, and stop, which he defines as control. So I'll wrap it up. I think you guys aren't giving yourself a stop. You're not giving yourself start, change, stop. You're going start, change, change, change. And each activity bleeds into the next activity, bleeds into the next activity, bleeds. And relationship bleeds into the next relationship. And after a while, just like, fuck, where am I? Right here. Right the fuck now. End that shit. Move on. So that's how I've been experiencing.
Wow.
Pass it on.
Wow. You took me to the next level. Here's what I realized. Absence presupposes presence, but the absence of presence. Presence presupposes also absence. If
Exactly.
The presence.
Exactly. I get it.
In the presence, you can easily become concerned of the absence. For example, you're having sex, but you're thinking, oh, what if I don't? Or you're having money, oh, what if I don't? In the absence, you're craving the presence. So you're being controlled. Now, one model of carrying everything as now is obstructing the present by dragging the past into it.
Right.
But for a moment, I had, instead of operating from presence and absence, how about omnipresence? And you take the word no, almost like om, but you go now. And you're in the presence of all things. As I was thinking about that, suddenly I had a sex vibrancy around me. I had a fame vibrancy around me. Even though I am here now, all those things are also in that omnipresent, all thing as one now. The lower aspect of this is the person is here, but they got 10 years, 20 years of baggage and projection. The higher attribute of this, you're here and you have omnipresence of richness from past to future to anything, anywhere. We got to be mindful of your time.
Yeah,
time.
I actually have a little bit more than I thought, but if we can end whenever you're ready.
Oh no, well, whatever. We're on a roll. Maybe let's honor a couple more questions.
Sure.
So we can have
Catch
fun.
up on this real quick. I mean, if you want to read it,
okay, I will read.
Wait for me, but
I will read. Cassius, what a cool name. When being free, is it important to not be rude or infringe on others' comfort? I find that when I'm most free and expressive, I have a tendency to be impolite and inappropriate. All right, so right there, you are going to move closer to a true sense of real freedom, because that sense, again, could be the result of you are more free. You are not doing anything wrong, but in the context in which you are like that, others are not free and they project that on you. So you need to know when that's the case, okay? And you also need to know where you're coming from at the core. Pure self-expression is you do not wish to cause any unuseful harm. So it's not an ill intention that's based on fear. It's just pure self-expression. And you can, real freedom, you will have, you will disrupt others, but there you tap into higher levels. You know, if you kind of knew at being a little more free and self-expressive, your strength in it might not be as equal to the strength in other people going like, that's so rude. But when you are stronger in that, other people will comply, because people gravitate towards that which is most affirmed, certainty. So when you just also have to become more certain in it. You know, I've seen it. I mean, I'll give you a basic example. When I first started to say I'm a hypnotist, oh my God, a world record, that's dangerous. Really? Does it work? And so on. Today, I don't even state it, but if anybody was to ask me I'm a hypnotist, the answer from people has completely changed. They go, wow, how cool. You know, when I first started to dress crazy, a lot of people saw me like as a hoodlum or like as a fucking crazy person and so on. But now I have little old ladies who go, the other day, this lady said, oh my God, the way you combine colors, can I take a picture? That's how she came. A little lady, she with a cell phone, she looked like a tourist in LA. The way you combine color, that's what came out. She didn't go like how rude, how crazy, how insane.
the question I really like, because there's 2 points you have to understand. Man, this is so fucking powerful. One is this, okay? If you want a certain level of freedom, then in a society like this, you have 2 choices. One, you can have that freedom, but then you have to realize then you give everybody else permission to be as free as you. So what you're saying is, I have the freedom to be rude, but then they don't have the freedom to be upset with me being rude, right? Hey, the moment you exercise your freedom, you give that person the same right. Okay, so like I always said, people are welcome to say anything they want to say to me as long as they're willing to fucking hear me back, right? They can hit me too as long as I hit them back, right? It's when I don't have the permission to do that because of authority that's fucked up, right? So if you're gonna exercise that freedom, then don't worry about being rude, because if you are, they will then handle you, and then you'll cut your freedom, or you'll keep acting free and deal with the consequences. Like I said in the beginning of the lecture, there is consequences. You can't get away with it. One, but number 2 is what's really fucking fascinating. If you're a superhero and you have the ability that every time you're rude, somebody tried to like say something to you, and you could snap your fingers, and there'll be a sense of terror in them when they would just be like, no, I would never say that to him. You wouldn't care. So the only thing you're actually afraid of, being rude and all that, is the fact that you really ultimately cannot totally destroy or handle your environment. And if you did, rude would not be a factor. This is important for everybody to understand, because you don't know how rude or how not rude you are until you could handle your environment completely where it's not dangerous to you. Then we're going to see if you're rude or not. Until then, the threat of consequence, of being yelled at, looked at, whatever, thrown in jail, will prevent you from your true expression. Okay? So true expression happens when you feel totally comfortable in your environment. And this is something that women will pick up on in your body language when you walk in. Okay? The guy who's got the, oh man, you know, yesterday, we're by 7-Eleven and this old Chinese man, hold on, okay. At the restaurant. This old man was walking by 7-Eleven. I was with my girlfriend Jessica, and she looked, and we both looked at this little old Chinese man. And it was just a moment. And I said to her, strong, huh? She goes, yeah. She goes, whoa, he's a little guy. She goes, he walks like you. I said, how? She goes, I don't know. He just looked like you for a second when he was walking. Little Chinese man, old guy. I said, what about his walk? She goes, he's just so relaxed. And she goes, it looks like he would fuck somebody up, even though he's an old man. I said, yeah, he looks comfortable in an environment that's kind of not comfortable, because he was walking in not a very good area, but he was just like nothing was happening, just looking up and comfortable. There was no tension in his body, right? So if you find yourself going, if I'm free, the environment is going to attack me, then that's why you have to find your freedom in the context of where you are, right? Outside of that, ultimately, you could be so powerful that you could be as rude as you want. I could be as rude as I want to my dogs. You know what I mean? I could kick my dog. I could put it away. I could even piss or shit on it and it would take it, right? Why? Because I, in my dog's mind, am senior god-like. I could do whatever the fuck I want to my dog, right? So I think the idea of rude and all that should be studied from the perspective of ultimate power. You could destroy your environment. How would you act? That's why we have a benevolent God. You know what I mean? That's why we have a true teacher or guru, a real black belt, right? A real army of a nation or something, right? Where they have the force to destroy, but they choose instead to not use that force and instead create, but with the threat of force behind it if anybody comes near, right? That would be a powerful nation. That all the borders, no country thinks about attacking it because it would just nuke the shit out of everybody. Yet, all it does is keep creating and making the world a better place. That was America.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of our conversation the other day. One thing that's essential. So here's another core compass. Okay, so we reinforce that idea of you hear different information, but you got to get back to one thing that gives you a sense of direction, and you more fully equipped. Navigational tools. That core compass is simple: context first, and then purpose. Or there's no first. Okay, what is your primary purpose? And what is the fucking context? For example, your primary purpose is you want to be promoted. The context is you are surrounded by seniors in your industry. And at that point you arrive, you go, yo, where's my fucking promotion? Unless you have a recording studio and everybody goes, here he is. I love this guy. I told you about him. I fucking told you. Okay? Then you're violating your purpose in violating the context. If the context is different from your purpose, if your purpose, for example, one day I go, today I'm going to be a social pest, and I start walking the street, and I arrive at my favorite restaurant, Veggie Grill, and I'm already shouting when I enter the door, and all the waitresses go, ha, 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 and a few are like getting all stuck up, and those who love me are like, oh, he is here again, and somebody says, oh, wow, man, you're here every day, and it's nighttime, and I'm wearing sunglasses, and I'm loud. I'm honoring my primary purpose, and there's 3-4 people who look and go, oh, wow, he's loud, and I can tell. So notice the compass. What is your primary purpose? Contrast it with the context, and you have 4 primary options. You want to honor the context because it is essential for your primary purpose. the context supports your primary purpose, and then you find the other two, because that's a lot of work for me to think about all those things.
There you go. Mouthful from both of us. Now you have two mouthfuls. Did we accomplish what we set out to accomplish in this, or no?
Oh, I think it's above and beyond. Above and beyond.
That's what you guys think
Yeah.
matters. I wonder if we did. Any other final questions? Anything here, Robert?
I'm good.
I want to thank you, Robert, also. You've been pretty awesome, giving me the ride.
Yes.
The time in your company, top notch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
In no way stated to encourage others to do the same if ever I need it. And you, brother, Arash, I'm all excited. I'm like, wow. I look forward for that movie to come to full fruition. That story where they call it San Angeles. Remember in that movie? There was a movie like San Angeles. San Francisco and Los Angeles had come together. So there would be San Jose and Hollywood. So we just be like, you be in one part of the city and I be in the other part. I'm very excited about this thing, flying out of Burbank with the valet security. Takes you 10 minutes. The whole thing from the moment you enter to being by your gate takes you about 10, 15 minutes max.
What is this?
It's 15 minutes. It's the Burbank Airport, Bob Hope Airport.
It was my favorite airport when I was flying at that time. But what are they doing? They're making it.
No, I didn't know it. I think I flew randomly once, but it was for a different purpose, so I wasn't paying attention to that. A rash depart, motherfucking dinosaur.
Vince motherfucking Calvin. Vince Viper motherfucking
Vince Viper. I got scared for a second.
For what?
No, because my imagination, sometimes I live it. So there is somewhere, somehow, Big Mike that could be looking for me at any given time.
Big Mike.
Oh my God, that was
White Cloud.
White Cloud.
Can we share that in the clip or no?
Yeah, I think we can. We can.
That's Arthur.
Yeah.
Acting piece.
I've noticed the challenge is that because it says sex in it's like it doesn't last long on Facebook with sharing. So I think a picture with the link versus just posting.
It doesn't last on Facebook. Are you sure?
It depends which on mine, because it says sex. After a while, it goes, sorry, this video is not available.
Wow.
But that end where you go, it's Viper in the house, and you depart.
That was really good. I watched it and I was impressed.
I
never know.
I genuinely feel I had a vision that this movie was going to get was going to be a cult movie, and it's going to get an award in I don't know if it's Belgium or France, where they're very peculiar, where they see things in movies that would not be noticed in America. So I think it's going to be a cult movie.
It's got the elements of it.
Yeah,
That's how famous we get by the time it comes out. The goal is to become extremely famous, so that everybody looks for it. That's what I want.
Yeah. So I was on this live stream the other day with this chick that has done a lot. She was on So You Think You Can Dance, the South American version. She's Miss whatever and so on. Mm-hmm. But the responses I got, basically, it's guys watching her for hours at a time. She has another clip with 500,000 views where she's at a restaurant. There's a dude next to her. You cannot hear her talk because of the music. Once in a while, she goes, oh, I love that song. Then she's got a beverage, and then she looks at her cell phone. The clip is an hour and a half.
Because she's famous and beautiful, right?
Yeah. So guys feel like they're on a date with her. So when they saw me starting to kiss close her, oh my God, they were like, who's that meth head? He's a crackhead. Run away. He's got heads. The comments were going like.
How was she reacting to that?
Her. She was like
she loving it, probably.
Oh yeah, no, she was. Good. I rewatched the clip. Her body language. She was like. And then she also was like, oh. Then she kind of defended me a little bit. She was like. Then she didn't know me, but she acted like she knew me. She was like, oh yeah, I see Vince in Hollywood quite a bit. Yeah, because people are saying he's been on those other live streams and so. Okay, well.
You ended up kissing her?
I kissed her on the neck, I kissed her here, and I think the issue that I could tell with chicks, it's always very different. She was in the middle of her live stream with layers and layers of fucking makeup and her lips. I could tell that her only reason not to kiss me, because she knew it would have been like maybe like good hits or viral and so on, was her lipstick. It's funny. It's often like that. I had this girl that she was not kissing me. She was not kissing me. And I was like, this is so fucking weird. And then I go to my bathroom and I go, somebody touched my mouthwash. And then I come out and boom, we're kissing. So the only reason she wasn't kissing me, she was breath conscious at the beginning.
That can happen to
Yeah,
us.
and face and makeup. You know, the more they have on, the more like their lips, they don't want it to be messed up. So for girls who put like 2-3 layers and then some lip gloss on top of it, and you could mess it up so fast.
That reminds me of 2 things here. We get little bonuses if you guys are still around. It's like after the movies, you stick around and see if there's
Yeah. I love it.
If a girl ever asks you when she meets you, if you're not going to be meeting up with other people, and you guys are going out, if she says, "Do you have any gum?" She is thinking about kissing you, just so you know. Okay, if there's nobody else around. This has happened a few times recently, and I realized that led into them kissing me first. And then another one is this position. I mentioned it in a pack lecture. We're talking 8-9 years back, and I said maybe I would show it one day. So welcome to today. When a girl sits like this, facing you, can't really do it. So if we're on the couch over there, and I'm there, and she's like this, both legs up, knees towards you, holding it like this. Everybody's seen that? I guarantee you, you're very close to having sex with her if you do it right, okay? I have not seen a girl in my car like this or here. At the moment their fucking legs come up and they face me like this. This fucking thing. You test it. You test it. Tell me how many girls have sat like this that you haven't fucked yet. If they're not willing to fuck, they don't seem to be in this position for some reason. I don't know what this fucking fetus, hold my knees, face the person, big eyes, kind of talk like this the whole time is. But I did notice it in myself twice, doing that like a fucking little faggot. You know, I caught myself with the 2 girls that I was really into. Suddenly, legs were up. I didn't have it in both hands, but I was like this. And I was like, oh, shit. This is it. This is like a full fucking commitment or something. I don't know what the fuck. The next step is like straddling me, I think. So just watch for these 2 things and see your own observation. I'm curious if you guys will find the opposite. Don't try to find it. Try to find the opposite of it if you can. What else? Anything else new? There's a million things in my head. It's 3:08. I got to meet just down the street. So 3:30.
So much. We need some pictures. One picture. One picture.
Okay, I feel ugly today, but we could do it still.
So, gentlemen watching this, we have the celebrity game.
17th of November.
Yeah, because last night.
God, if you were there last night, you would need to know the fucking celebrity game, because you would have fucking ruined it. I'm just telling you, I would not want to hang out with you last night if you didn't know how the fuck to act around these people. There were some people don't know the level of people that were there. I do. It was intense, man. These were movers and shakers. Like, man, sorry.
By the way, there is no one that I have ever known who navigates and does the introductions like you do.
Thank you. It's a big part of the social dynamic.
Yeah, but you're down to a fucking science. What I was telling Robert, there were 2 gentlemen that one didn't know, knew of me but didn't know much, and the other one has been around a little bit but a long time ago. He's the type that disappeared with a girlfriend or something like that. I don't know. Okay, so Robert is at the bar and by himself. He's got a good vibrance and so on. I don't know him. I'm next to him. We would end up talking. May not be the conversation of a lifetime, you know. And there's a guy and a girl next to him, and they are all bonding with him. The girl is more into Robert than she is the guy that's with him. But suddenly those 2 guys come around. So now it's 4 of us. And I told Robert, I say, run. Whenever that fucking happens, run. Because the 2 guys are holding their energy back. Their positioning is awkward. So now we are 4 fucking guys. As we're 4 guys, one of the guys looking in that direction, the other guy in that direction. So suddenly it's 4 guys that from the distance, it's 2 things. Those guys are not having a great time together. Why would a girl have a great time together? And why would there be 4 fucking guys without a girl? So what you got to do is 2 things. When you find yourself in that situation, become mindful of it and just run. And the second thing is learn how to impact people better. And I love, brother, yesterday, I love the guys here because I was in the car with a girl getting ready to go to the airport. I just told them, no fucking around. I'm going. We're making things happen. Join. I didn't have a link. I said the PayPal is this and that. And then On my phone, boom, the guy stepped up. So we have top-notch guys here. So you guys, right now, you do the same for celebrity game. Okay, celebrity game is what? 17, 18, 19. The 17 is the free talk. The 18, 19, we are in Hollywood. A rush is coming. Okay? What we're doing for you guys is 150. It's going to be 250, but 150, if you act on it right now, you get the 2 days and the recording. Okay, so same thing. Vince at Seduction. Yeah, you heard that. It is so cheap. It really is. And it's clicking in my mind that it's too fucking cheap.
Yeah.
So it's probably the last time that I will do that, because now I got to walk out and deal with myself going like, it's too fucking cheap. Okay? So 150, send it now before I change my mind.
Well, let me tell you guys what's happening.
I'm reconsidering.
No. Let me tell you guys what's happening. We were really like, whether I like it or not, this whole community is changing rapidly. Okay, and we have to make some decisions. So check this out. I've had different wingmen in recent times. You know, I'm in San Jose, and very recently, about maybe 2 weeks ago, I cut out one of my wingmen. You know, who's a good friend of mine. And it wasn't a difficult decision. It was a difficult maneuver on how to do it without hurting his feelings, if that makes sense, right? But I had to make a decision. Do I want to get better or not? You know, what kind of life do I really want to live, right? And if you're not stepping up at a certain level, you can't go out with me, dude. You just can't. Sorry, we could be great friends, but I'm working. I'm out there doing what I love to do. This is, a football player in the football field. Don't put on the fucking helmet unless you can take a hit, you know? And so I cut him out, you know? And I told him, I said, you're not doing it, bro. I said, and the problem is that you have a beautiful girlfriend, and it's just a matter of time before you come crying to me. And you know it and I know it, but just watch what's going to go down, bro. Right? And he's still coming around or whatever. But the reason I'm telling you that is we have to make a decision, right? Last night, what made my club opening a success, the thing that made it a success, a big factor was the people that were there were very high-level people from different fields. Now, you'd have to wonder how I have friends in all of these different fields. Well, this is what I do. This is what the power was. From tattoo shop owners to hairstylist owners to singers and dancers to mafia guys. I don't even know if they're mafia. I don't know what the fuck they are. They run the fucking city on that side, man. Like those guys. You know what I told my girlfriends? She was like, well, one of them was like, all the people. I said, you know who the most powerful guy in that place was? I said, no. I said, that one guy. She's like, what? What? I said, that one guy. Yeah. From what I know so far, right? Outdid everybody that night by so much that nobody would even believe. I know because I met him through a different connection. And she goes, wow, I thought like, I said, no. When you get to that level, you don't do that. You look like a regular fucking guy, you know? And I was explaining to her, I said, I have to still put on that because that's the illusion I have to still create. That guy doesn't have to do that at all, but he's very sharp. And the clue is very simple. When I introduced him to my business partner, and he wanted to contribute a lot, you know. He was this, and I would keep bringing him because that's not the part I want to do. I don't do the logistics of shit, right? So I was telling her, and then as she was trying to grab the communication line, he turned to her. It was very powerful. A little guy, a little Oriental guy, you know. He turned to her. He said, very polite. He goes like, I'm gonna deal with him though, not you. He goes like this. But at that moment, you just saw who I knew he was. He goes, he goes, I'm going to deal with him, not you. And then he turned to me, he goes, I'm just going to deal with you because I know you. And this was subtle, but it was a fucking movie scene if I ever lived it. I took a moment and I appreciated the position I found myself in, right? Where he clearly stated to me, if you're smart, you understand what I'm saying. And if you're not smart and you say something stupid right now, it's going to be no big deal. But then I know you're stupid enough to not deal with me. And I said, oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. I got this. Blah, blah, blah. And then he left. But that's the caliber of people, right, that we have to teach. And if you guys Vince will read it. I'll show him, but just so you guys understand, there's a name here that texted me today. What the fuck? I love how fast this thing is moving now. There we go. This is the guy, the investor in the big magazine in LA that I met. This is this guy that I'm about to read you a text from. The group of investors that he's part of. His own words to me after we met, and I've been teaching him now. You know, he says to me, because I said, "Look, I don't want any money from you. So I'm definitely not going to charge you like $2 million to fucking. That's what my shit is worth. You know what I mean? Like millions. But I'm not going to charge you because it's stupid." I said, "But what I want in return is introduce me to your network." I said, "Just take me around. Let me walk and be in that crowd for a minute. Then I'll do my part, right?" And he said to me, he goes, "Look, I just worked my way into this group," and his words were, "These guys run Hollywood, man, but very casually, and I know they do. I could feel they do, and that's why I met him like that and whatever." But what's amazing is, that guy who can pay whatever the fuck I want him to pay is not getting charged right now for the value he's bringing, right? But this is the guy messaging me this morning or last night. He says, "Kill it tonight at the club. Fuck some shit up. Hell yeah, already kill it." Then this morning he sends me a page of what he's reading, and he says, "I'm studying." Oh, that was last night. Then he goes, "How did it go last night? I know something good happened. Blah, blah, blah. Got to catch up." And then I sent him on my Diamond Mind lecture. So if you want to watch, come watch. So then he immediately texted me. This is a fucking busy guy. And he actually got on the fucking lecture. You know, he has a huge, huge company part of it. And then he says, right away, he's the first guy to text me after the lecture. "Good lecture. I got something during it." And then he tells me this whole thing. And then he asks me a question. And he says, "Now my question is, here's a guy who's successful. Look how he's doing it, right?" And then he asks a question. Now watch the answer. I go, "That rabbit hole," I messed up, "is not mine to explore." He says, "Gotcha," because I don't have the answer to that. You know what I mean? That's not where I'm going with that, right? But these are the people we want to teach. So if you guys are not making the 150 or the 200, you don't understand. This is a $2,000 product, $5,000 product to be out with us on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? So be very aware, because every time I say it, I do it. At some point, you're not going to be able to access this anymore, guys, okay? Because you're right. People don't appreciate what they don't pay for. You understand that? And if you want to know seduction, she won't want what she doesn't work for. Okay? The biggest mistake I made with the newest girl that I was really into is she didn't have to work for anything. Okay? And then I finally switched leverage, and now I'm making her work for it. And guess what? The attraction is building. We want to work to accomplish something, guys. Right? So come around, make it happen, because I think the prices should go up. I really think.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be one of those good cop, bad cop, where it's going to be a fucking switch. It's going to be like the interrogation room, and everybody's like, "Oh wow, the one with the pink hair, like I can get stuff from him, like from like $200 and so on." And then it's going to be like, "What? He wants $100,000? Is fucking serious?" No, that's what it's going to be. Because I got my back against the wall. At some point, it's going to be like, and energy is so like, it's funny, because for the longest time I've been, and we should wrap up, but in the longest time I've been falling asleep very well. And suddenly, after about the first cycle of sleep, I wake up and I'm like,
It's funny that shit happens to me.
Yeah. And then I found out that it's actually the energy gathered throughout the day of people. It's people stuff.
Yeah.
It's being sensitive, like not sensitive, weak, but being attuned. Okay. So upon that realization, it's going to be like just like a fucking like death, like going, "No, I cannot have that. I cannot have that. I cannot have that." So
come around, man. We're changing the culture. I want high value people. I want you guys to be able to roll with the crowd that was there last night.
Yeah. And you guys are that too. Furthermore, we want you guys to awaken to the fact that you are an earlier rendition of that's still in the simmering phase of not being certain that you are that. Okay, it's that phase. So you need to come out of that phase, and we also need to be able to go. Oh, by the way, this is our buddy so and so. We met him 5 years ago. He was studying with us. That is the highest reward. You know, those guys who come and go, oh, thank you, kiss our asses that. No.
We could introduce you proudly to
that is the thank you.
That is it, because then you brought the value up. Now, every single person last night, except the master pickup artist, everybody that I watched, and I watched a lot, my eyes caught everything that I could catch last night, was violating social dynamic laws. And that's why nobody was able to really run the place. And I made everybody the observer somehow. It was very interesting. If you look back, these were big people, but they all enjoyed watching for some reason. They couldn't kind of get their own rhythm yet, but I didn't completely knock out their rhythm. I allowed them to have their rhythm within my rhythm. But they were never allowed to push any further. They couldn't, because they didn't know how to interact with each other. How does a tattoo parlor interact with bodybuilders who can't have a tattoo? Here, their seats are right next to each other. In the middle of them, I put an old, beautiful woman. Did you see that beautiful blonde lady? Dressed, blonde hair. Beautiful.
Yes, I believe so.
Successful.
Oh, yeah.
Hairstylist, right?
A lot of hair extensions.
Yes, she's a hairstylist.
Yeah.
With some of the richest investors in Silicon Valley. She brings them there, and I sit in front of them. 4 guys in suits, each one of them entrepreneurs winning. And I'm watching them. I introduce them. They go a little bit and then they back off. No social skills. This is where you shine. I have to go. They're
yes.
Me. Okay.
I have to use the bathroom.
All right, everybody. I don't know how to do this. Just stop broadcast.
Here.
It takes care of it.
Time to say goodbye.